Hey Olympia, Jessica from Peterson SEO. Thank you so much for speaking with me today and requesting this free video. So today we're just going to walk over a few tips that you guys can start using right away that's really going to help bring in more of those organic leads every single month. So let's get started where your customers start. Let me go to the top here. So when your customers need your service, especially in an emergency situation, they're generally not going to look up your business name or even know who you are. They're going to be starting with keyword search or even questions related to their service. So you want to make sure that you are visible when they're doing those searches. So somebody puts in water damage restoration in Portland, there's going to be three separate spots that a business can own positioning in on Google. Okay. The very first is going to be Google Ads. Disregard this. This is a client that needs to pay their bill. I don't know why Google's showing that, but anyways. So, is going to be the top section is ads, your cost per click, and even local service ads. And about 10% of people actually click through on those ads. The next section here, this is your Google business profile or the map pack. Okay, your goal is to be in the top three because 30% of people come straight to the map pack here and won't go anywhere else. So if you're not in the top three for your area, and for your services, then you're leaving money on the table and um you're sending those customers to your competitors. Now there are several factors that come into play when it comes to ranking in the top three. One of the most important factors is something called citations, which is simply more like directory listings. So that'd be listing the name of your business, your address, phone number, and website on a bunch of directories like Yellow Pages, Yelp, Glassdoor, and even your social media pages. And so you need more of those citations than your competitors have. Google says according to them about the top three businesses generally have about 150 or more of those citations. And if you're not in the top three, you probably have more like 50 citations or so. So you definitely want to work on your citations. Now, this area is also very fluid, continually changing. And so it's really important that you don't just set it and forget it. You need to make sure that you are maintaining and optimizing every month. That means adding new photos every month, geotagging them, and also doing updates. If you don't have Q&As, adding new Q&As. So there's several things you can do to show Google that you guys are active and help them to want to promote you into the top three or to be able to maintain that position. And then the next section here, this is your organic section. Okay. Now, this is the most important section because 60 to 70% of people skip everything else and are going to come right here. Now, you want to be here not just on your homepage, but for each of your major services. That way you can be found for those services in the areas that you serve. But how exactly do you get in these positions? So, let's start with your website. In order for you to show up on the first page of Google, your website has to be properly built and optimized. So let's take a look at your website. So your website is secure, so that's great. You have a click to call phone number, which is awesome. Let's see, you have a 24-hour call out. That's good. I always recommend not just having a click to call phone number, but also a form at the very top of every single page. even if it's just right below your header here. But have them on every single page because customers are not going to search for your information. So no matter what page they land on when they land on your website, they need to be able to easily reach out to you. That is going to help you significantly with conversions when they do land on your site. Now, you want to make sure that you're going after the local keywords. Um, so not just going after generic biohazard cleanup, but biohazard cleanup in your area. So if you're focused on Portland, it might be Portland biohazard cleanup. Um, and so you want to make sure you're going after those local keywords. You want to make sure that every page on your website has its own service page. I noticed that you do have a decent summary for each of your services, but it's all on one page and there's no keywords. So you definitely need to break that out into their own separate unique pages. Google does not rank websites by appearance. It is based on content, and content is key. And when we say content, it's a variety of things. It includes photos, which you can see here is just a generic title. You want your photos and videos to have a name that includes your business name and the keywords, the local keywords. So definitely optimize your images here. And then the other part of content is the written content. Okay, all of this information. So Google sends crawlers to your website, which help tell Google what your website's about. And so if you don't have your content optimized to tell Google what it's about, or you don't have enough content, Google has no idea what you're actually doing or what customers they should be bringing you. So it's really important that your content be built around your services and your local keywords, and that you have the right repetition of that keyword. You need at least 3 repetitions for Google to pick it up as a keyword. And then you need 150 words for every keyword you're going to target. So for all these summaries, you want to make sure that you're using those local keywords. And keep in mind, there's often multiple variations of keywords. So you definitely want to work on your keyword and content strategy. And because you guys service multiple areas, you also want to make sure that you have service area pages for those services as well. That's going to help you to get indexed and be able to rank and found for your services, for all of your services in each of the communities that you serve. Okay, let's take a look at your top competitors. The first was ServPro. It's a franchise, and I just happen to know, working with them, that they just completely rebuilt these websites and pretty much took away most of the ability of these franchisees to do anything. So they cannot edit this. So even though they have a good amount of content, it's not keyword focused. So it is actually easy to beat these guys. If we look at your competition, these guys have a great website as well. You can see they have separate service pages. They also have a ton of separate service area pages. They have the click to call phone number at the top. They got a form near the top. I bet their images are probably optimized. Kitchen before, so not really optimized. So they got a good amount of content here. So you're always going to need more than whatever they're doing. So more content, more pages, and really focus hard on your keyword strategy. And then when you support all of that with SEO, you're going to see a significant increase in traffic and calls and forms coming in. Being able to get those organic leads. So this is a program we use called Ahrefs. It's a paid tool that tells us how your website performs. And as you can see right now, your rating is a 0.7 out of 100 in Google's Trust Flow, which means Google doesn't really trust your website. And that is partially because of the content on your website, but it's more so the power you're sending to your website. So you do need backlinks. You need a lot of backlinks, but not all are good. Okay, this is a popularity contest, so the links need to be the most relatable to your business. You don't want links from Pizza Hut and Dunkin' Donuts. They won't help you, they'll actually hurt your scores. Okay, and so a referring domain is any website that sends a link from their website to your website. The backlink is that physical link coming from that site. If you've ever been to a web page that has a hyperlink and you click on that hyperlink and it takes you somewhere else, that's what a backlink does. Okay. Now, if you think of this in terms of like your favorite power tool or your favorite device, in order for it to work, it has to have power. So you plug that device into a power source, like a referring domain, and that power source sends power through that cord to your device and it powers it on. So it's the same sense with your website. We have to send it that power. Now, you don't have really any content around keywords and kind of limited content. So you've only been indexed for 24 keywords, but you got 0 traffic coming to your website. So you're missing out on a ton of jobs. If we look at your keywords, there's 10 spots per page on Google. So you don't have any keywords that are actually on the first page. So you definitely have some work to get these keywords promoted and get additional keywords added and promoted so that you can get those jobs. Sorry about that. One second. I apologize for that. I thought I had reloaded that. So when it comes to ServPro, we're not concerned on how their website performs. We're concerned about their location. Their location is a 0.2 out of 100, and that's because they don't have any backlinks. They have been indexed for 38 keywords, and they are seeing about 290 people to that page per month, okay? And when we look at those keywords, we can see that a lot of these are just generic restoration keywords, but also that they're ranking for some of the water damage keywords. We would have to basically do the same thing for some of your bio services, but this kind of gives you a good idea of what's going on and what needs to happen. When we look at Oregon Restoration, you can see they have a much higher ranking here. They've got over 1,200 backlinks, so we're going to have to do more than they're doing. And because they got a lot more pages, a lot more content, they're indexed for over 250 keywords, and they're getting about 300 people on their app, on their website each and every month. So it just shows that by not having those optimizations in place, you guys are losing out on quite a bit of traffic and conversion. I hope that you found this video to be helpful and informational. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.